Kyle.
What's
Uh-oh.
up?
You gotta do that. You gotta do that every time, really?
Always leave them for last.
Why me?
I'm sorry, Remy.
Why?
Oh man, it's good to see y'all tonight. I will say that. This is my favorite time of the week. I
Yes.
get to gather with you guys and we get to talk movies and sci-fi and crazy out of this world ideas. But before we get started, YouTube family, I'm Donald.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Remy?
Remember?
DJ.
And we are the Sci-Fi Nerds. And tonight we're going to be doing our first movie versus battle. So this was a wonderful idea.
Movie match.
Yeah. It was created by the one and only Remzilla. So, Remy, would you like to tell everyone what two movies will be pitting against each other today?
Yes. So the two movies we're going to be discussing today are Predator 2 and the first live action Guyver movie. And we're going to be matching them up between categories, mainly story, characters, action, and effects. And see which one gains a point at the very end. I don't know. I guess we'll just see which one was the better movie overall. But again, it is not a definitive answer about which one is the better movie. It is just merely our opinions that we are sharing, so do not get too hasty about it. So, yeah.
I will say the first question that I have is, Remy, did you enjoy both of the films? Having going back watching them?
Yes, actually, I did enjoy my experience with both of them. I've seen Predator 2 before, but this is actually kind of my first time watching the Guyver movie like all the way through. I've only seen like bits and pieces of it, so this is my first time like watching the movie like on my own, like fully.
Yeah, I know DJ had a good time this week.
Yep.
Watching.
As soon as I put the Guyver out, I was like, "Oh, watch DJ said the Guyver," and he's like, "Yeah, let's watch the Guyver." I'm like, "Yeah, freaking course he said that."
Yeah, no, I enjoyed both of the films as well. What about you, Kyle? Were you able to catch the films?
Well, I actually had to look into Brandon's movie reviews in order to get the whole idea what Guyver is with the movie. So basically with that review, I probably got a little bit of pieces of what the film is about. And I do know it's definitely based on an anime, which we all know. And it was almost, to me, or anyone's opinion, it's almost like kind of like a knockoff of what Brandon mentioned was a knockoff of the Batman with all the sound effects and basically the alien mixes with the Power Rangers style. That's what I kind of like think that's sort of what Guyver is.
Okay. What about you, DJ? I know you enjoyed the guy.
I've watched both of the movies several times. So
I thought about you while I was watching the Guyver film. I was like, I know DJ is loving this. I was loving it too, DJ. So I can't complain, brother.
I will say the first Guyver movie is much cheesier compared to the second one. The second one actually took it a little bit more seriously. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate that the first one did try to honor the source material, the manga, and loosely followed the original storyline, kind of the first couple chapters, and then we'll get into it more later, but they did a phenomenal job with the Guyver suit. So,
the Guyver suit was awesome.
It was like, it's this corny movie, but you got this awesome looking suit that looks like it just stepped out of the page of the comics and stuff. So
yeah, the suit was awesome. So getting into the movie comparisons, Remy, I'll start with you. Okay. And we'll start with Predator 2 first. So going back watching the Predator 2, Remy, what was your initial thoughts again going back reviewing the film? What did you think of the film, and how do you match up this film with the Guyver movie?
Hmm. That's a big question. Damn. Uh, well, it's kind of like I would say like my second time watching Predator 2 like all the way through because I watched it I think a year back, so it's been a while since I've seen it. So this was kind of like a good refresher for me. But like I still enjoy it. Like I know that a lot of people kind of have issues with Predator 2, but honestly, I really really enjoy that movie. I think it's probably one of the better Predator movies out there as well. Um, in terms of like comparing it to the Guyver movie, I would say that the Predator 2 is a lot more. It has a lot more of like an edge to it than Guyver does. Not because like the Guyver is rated PG-13 and Predator is rated R, but also because like the tone of the movies are kind of different. Where the Guyver is kind of cheesy and sort of like goofy at times. Predator 2 kind of takes itself pretty seriously a lot of the times. But even then, Predator 2 still has a lot of ridiculous moments in it. And I think they still acknowledge those ridiculous moments, but go with it. Because even the first Predator movie takes itself seriously, but it knows that it has fun with its premise, though. And I feel like Predator 2 does the same thing. So I would say, like, in that, they kind of share that same kind of, like, over the top, kind of like, they're both sci-fi films. So, of course, they're going to, like, have elements in them that make them sort of, like, a little bit bombastic, but they kind of handle their tones very like differently from each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think as far as excuse me, as far as the characters go, I will say because these are like to me two totally different movies, so it's kind of hard for me to compare them because I did enjoy them both. Watching Guyver actually reminded me of like my childhood. Like I'm watching almost like a Power Ranger type, movie type show from how cheesy it was to how playful it could be. And the Guyver did have some funny moments because like towards the end he was like, "What do you go?" He like hit me. He kicked him. Boom. He flew. He flew back through the wall before he turned into that big old monster.
Yeah.
But then with Predator 2, you have more of a serious tone. Like you have like some laughable moments in the movie. But if you look at was it Lieutenant Harrington? Like his character was like the real deal. So as far as the casting goes, I think it was two different tones. So it was kind of hard for me to compare these movies because they're like I said, they're totally different. But Remy, I do agree with you as far as the tone. They're two different tones, but and you got sci-fi, fantasy, but they're still really, really good films. So yeah. I'll start there. What about you, DJ? How would you compare Guyver and the Predator?
Well, again, going back to the tone with the Guyver, it seems like they wanted to Saturday morning cartoonify the movie. Because I mean the comics and everything is brutality, and when the anime came out, it was advertised as like like raw action brutality, at its finest kind of thing. Because like in the manga and the anime, you have limbs being torn off and body parts being blasted away, and just blood and guts everywhere and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All the time, and you don't really see see that in the Guyver. They kind of hold back, you know, from going all the way, whereas Predator is taking itself seriously. It's trying to continue the mythos that was established in the first Predator movie, and expanding on the universe. In the first one, it's this mysterious alien just appears and goes hunting these soldiers. In the second one, we find out that they travel in packs. There's other alien species out there in the universe that they're being hunted, because when they finally get to the spaceship, you see all the trophy collection and everything. Um, so in that aspect, it's taking itself more seriously, and it's trying to world build, um, which unfortunately some of the follow up movies, don't do as well. I don't think.
Yeah.
With the world building.
I agree.
No,
So,
no, they don't.
That's true. Okay, that's true.
So yeah.
Now, Kyle, did you get an opportunity to watch the Predator 2?
I try to avoid that movie just because
Okay.
I think, given the fact that it's probably a sequel, it kind of feels like it's missing maybe something that maybe the first movie had, and basically why I probably remember some little pieces of this film is that you could definitely see that this is like their colony, the way they like gather together, kind of like how natives do in the past. This is more like their religion cult, where they gather all of their preys that they hunted and they worship them as like gods, just like how our ancient people used to do back in the days. And I can definitely see that how they present that in Predator 2. And that's with Guyver. It feels like, it feels like more of like a horror mixed with a superhero, which is kind of like what's trying to do. But if you have like Predator against Guyver, it's like East versus West sort of way. If you kind of think about that, this is how like I would view, like this is how they're almost like the same, but they are totally, like DJ said, they're part of the different universe.
Yeah, I think which makes it cool. And this was my first time watching the Guyver all the way through. And it's a really because it came out the year I was born. So going back watching it now it's like really cool. And like I said, I got the Power Ranger type feel. And like I said, this movie did have some funny moments. Especially when they was jumping him in the alley. Because when he took off running, I'm thinking he finna get away, and they caught him like 2 seconds. I was like, what? And they just started beating him. And then when he actually turned into the Guyver, they was like pushing each other in front of him, saying, "Get him! Nah, you get him, and you get him." They was pushing their friend up there to get his butt kicked, get his butt handed to him, and that wasn't a good idea at all. So Remy, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to ask you, what was your favorite scene from Predator 2? And what was your favorite scene from the Guyver? And tell us a little bit about them, and how would you compare those sequences, or those scenes, rather?
Yeah. Well, for Predator 2, I think my favorite sequence is the subway scene where the Predator shows up in the subway. And I just love that moment where, like, you have all these guys pulling out their guns on each other. And all of a sudden, you just see the train on top. And you're like, what the hell is that? And you just see the Predator crawling on top of it. And he just bursts through the thing. And he just starts wailing on people left and right. Like, it's just a massacre. Like, he's killing people. He's, like, grabbing guys. He's ripping them apart. He's, like, ripping out their spinal cords. He's shooting them. He's stabbing them and everything. And I love just the way that scene is shot, where it's just, like, fast cuts and, like, blaring lights that kind of like obscure a lot of the violence, but like it still like gets into your head about like what he's exactly doing to these people. And I especially love that POV where like you see his hand, where like you see the Predator's like POV where he's attacking people. You see him like grabbing people and like grabbing their faces, and they like cut away from it. So it's a very like horror based scene, but I love the hell out of it. Fair. And for Guyver, I would say my favorite scene in that movie is like the second transformation scene for Guyver, where the Zoonoids like find them in the like abandoned like factory or whatever, and he decides to transform. You know, he says like, "I am the Guyver," and then like you see all those parts,
that was cool.
out, and then they like come back on him, and then he's the full Guyver suit, and he takes all of them on. I really love that scene, especially like because like for the budget that they have, the effects in that movie are actually really good. Like not just a Guyver suit, but also the Zoonoid suits, the monster suits they have in that film are really well done. So, I mean, granted, some of them look like absolute garbage. The Gremlin one, whatever the hell that guy's name was, I hate that one. But
was that Matt?
The one that kept trying to rap, the one that never shut up, and I was like, stop it.
It was like the Jimmy Walker character from
Yeah, Jimmy Walker, yeah.
They talking about when he jumped at him and told him to shut up.
Yeah. No, like when he was like, hey, I'm looking for the Guyver jiving thing. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. You're ruining the moment, dude. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, you had this cool moment, then you just had to start rapping like a moron. Shut up. So I was really happy when the Guyver started beating the crap out of him. Like clothesline.
I didn't realize that was JJ from Good Times either.
Yeah, no, that's him. Yeah. Like freaking oh god. But yeah. But that's my favorite scene in that one. And I guess like comparing the two of them, that scene with the Guyver is a lot more like upbeat and like heroic because it is the Guyver. It is Sean finally stepping up as the Guyver and like taking action. With Predator 2, it's like this horrific moment where, oh my god, Predator, the Predator is like killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, and this is, to me, it's insane. But like I said, these movies are so different, but to me, they're two really good movies. If I had to choose a favorite film, not a favorite film, excuse me, but if I had to choose a favorite scene from Guyver, it would probably have to be maybe the ending fight scene, the ending battle. I thought that was cool. Especially when that guy was able to turn into the real big monster. And one thing I noticed about the Guyver film too is when they go to those transformations, like you can see that it's painful, and it's like it's nothing they can do to stop it. Like everybody who had a transformation was going through like some kind of pain.
Yeah, especially and that's transformation.
Right.
Lord.
It's way worse than a werewolf transformation.
Yeah, you ain't. Yeah, sorry, Luke. You ain't come back from that one, buddy.
Yeah, the transformations are like really, really painful. Sitting back watching, I'm like, and it's like nothing they can do to stop it. But I love I did love the ending sequence. I thought it was really, really cool. It was a serious tone towards the end of the film, and Sean really took on the Guyver role. And like you mentioned, Remy, after that second transformation, he really took it on. I enjoyed the suit. I love the suit, and I love the ending where the monster's grabbing him, and I see like this light. I'm like, what the world? And it just boom. And I mean, this just blew everything. Like,
and that's his and that's
Mega Smash.
Clearly taken from like the anime and manga, because the anime that DJ and I reviewed a few months back, that was like its most powerful attack. So in the movie, they're kind of like building it up to something, because like you see it in the beginning, like halfway through the movie, where one Zonai is trying to take out like the little like sphere in his head at first, and you see it start to open up, and it's like about to do something. So they're like foreshadowing its like true power, because if it went off when the Zonai was trying to take it out the first time, that would have been it for that guy.
And when that happened, he was like, oh, the suit protected me. Like, okay, I just discovered this new ability, and now I have it, in case something happened, I can use this newer attack, this newer ability. Yeah. And then Predator 2, I don't know if I have a favorite scene, but I do love the relationship between the Predators and Lieutenant Harrington. I thought it was pretty interesting, especially the ending scene when all the Predator ancestors show up and they show respect to Lieutenant Harrington, because I think it's like a rule or code or something.
Yeah, and that's right?
Yeah.
He killed their champion, so they honored him with a reward.
Yeah, because like the Predators has this very kind of honorable society. Yeah. So if you manage to take them out one-on-one in a combat, they're like, respect. We won't kill you. Respect. So
yeah, like he took him out, and I thought that was cool. Yeah. And then when Lieutenant Harrington showed up, I can't remember what building it was, but when he showed up, you can kind of see the Predator got like really excited because he was just killing the team off with ease. But when Lieutenant Harrington showed up, he got really excited, and he really was starting to hunt him. And I thought that was cool. So seeing the relationship throughout the movie between the Predator and Lieutenant Harrington was cool. And I felt bad. Was it King Willie? Was that his name?
Yeah.
He was still talking with his head.
Yeah, he was so ready for that fight. He was like, "Come on, let's go." And then the next scene, it's just his head.
Yeah, he just walked.
I'm like, that didn't last very long.
Yeah, that didn't last. But just comparing the two, I thought the action was good for both of them. Like I said, the tone in Predator 2 is just different from the tone in Guyver, which is fine with me because they're totally two different films. So, but I did enjoy both. So I thought, both films did a great job. And I don't know why the Predator 2, I don't know, a lot of people just didn't take well to it. I enjoyed it.
I think
the biggest issue that people had was you go from Predator 1 where you have Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these muscle-bound men, going toe-to-toe with the Predator, and then you go into Predator 2 and you have Danny Glover, who's a good actor, but he's not known for being a powerhouse.
Yeah, he's not Arnold's like star power either. Like he doesn't have as much star power as Arnold does.
Right.
So that I think that was the biggest detractor for Predator 2 is because they're like, well, in Predator 1 you had this military leader that was, going face to face with the Predator and and stuff like that, and so then you just have a street cop detective going up against them, and so from what I remember, that was the biggest complaint.
Yeah,
Predator
and also
is amazing and underrated. Yes.
Wow, Trey, look at that. We agree on something.
Looks like somebody agrees with me. Always stick with the first one. Always.
Yeah, but I would say that's a reason too. But also, I remember like watching like a podcast talk about Predator 2, and I think another reason why it wasn't as big as a hit as the first one was because a lot of people had complaints about its like the lack of like the amount of swearing and the amount of like just overall aggressive nature to the film, which I was just kind of like, it's a Predator movie. What the hell do you expect from it?
And it's taking place in L.A.
Exactly. I'm like, what do you? I'm like, what? Would you want her to be PG-13? I mean, it was later on, and we see how that went. But it's just like, it's a Predator movie. Like the first one has an aggressive nature to it. What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
So I don't really get people's complaints with Predator 2, like in general. I'm just like, it's fine. It's good. It's not the first one. Of course, it's not the first one, but it's good. It's a good addition.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Now the ones after, but I like the.
I like Predators. I like Alien versus Predator. It's all right. Alien versus Predator Requiem though, that's garbage. The Predator, that's garbage.
I thought they were kind of taking the Requiem to a whole new level because you really have like an Predator in that sort of form.
Yeah. Well, that's cool and all, Kyle, but like, how about I actually see the damn thing? I can barely even see it with that film's lighting. It's so damn dark. I'm like, what am I even looking at?
Oh yeah, like the 2014 Godzilla film was dark.
So thank you.
That's true.
Like that. I was like, what the hell am I watching? I can't even see the action. And then they keep doing all the quick cut editing when they're fighting each other. I'm like, stop! Let me see the freaking God. Movie pisses me off, man. I hate Requiem.
I'm coming to you, DJ. What's your favorite scene from the Guyver, and then what is your favorite scene from the Predator 2, and how would you compare the films?
I'll start with Predator 2. My favorite scene is actually the opening sequence where the cops are pinned down and Danny Glover's character comes in and opens up the pathway so they can rescue the bike cops, and then they go into the building, and just the whole sequence from him appearing to him being on the roof. It to me that really set the tone for the movie. Like, you get the view of the Predator looking down and watching this battle going on, and realizing that he wants to make Danny Glover his primary target. He's the leader of the pack. He's the head trophy that he has to get to, and so it was, it sets up the world. You got this drug gang fighting with the cops in the broad daylight in the street. heavy weaponry and everything like that, and then they just get blown away in a matter of seconds. And the cops are like, "What the heck just happened? Like, special forces or something? Like, what's going on here?" And then he gets up to the roof for the leader, and leader sees the predator in camo mode and freaks out, and then he sees him, but he's so afraid of heights that he doesn't realize what he's looking at. And because it could have ended right there if he'd actually shot at him.
Right.
Predator could have taken him out right there.
Yeah, because if Danny Glover had shot at the Predator would have, returned fire. But he took advantage of his confused state and was like, "We'll play later."
Yeah, I'm saving for later.
So to me, like I said, that whole sequence, just like I said, sets the tone for the movie. Shows what kind of character Danny Glover's character was, and so I really enjoyed it. And I mean, a lot of the other sequences, like like Remy said, that the subway scene's another really good one.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene.
And and then with the Guyver, it's kind of hard to choose because we get three scenes with the actual Guyver. So that's like, and the first one is pretty funny because, again, like Remy had mentioned, the gang bangers are like picking on him, beating him up and everything, and then he transforms and he's just like swatting them away like flies and everything like that. And
they're like, you get him.
And then you get the first fight with the Zoonoids, and it goes pretty well and everything like that, but ultimately he loses out, gets the control metal ripped out. But yeah, the final scene is really the best because he finally truly comes into it, has a better understanding and bond with the Guyver unit, and so he's able to better understand how to fight and defend himself and his girlfriend. So
I will say that first fight that they had in Guyver, that was brutal. That was a brutal way to go when they took the suitcase and they went and got him, and then they both transformed and they turned into those monsters. I was like, would he like crush his brain or something? I don't know.
Yeah, he just crushes his head. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like in the manga and the anime, it does start out very similar.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that's escaping with the Guyver units sets off a bomb and like blows himself up to prevent them from getting him. And so the main character in the manga and anime, the unit literally lands in front of him, and he picks it up and he accidentally activates it and bonds with it. Whereas in this one, he's just got the one unit and he throws it in the lunchbox, and Sean discovers it later on and stuff. So a little different, but again, paying homage to the original source material by having a guy trying to escape with it and end up getting caught by the Zoonoids and killed in the process. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, them things are scary when they transform, especially that creepy old man. It's like Predator 2, where he's surrounded by all the predators.
Yeah.
Says, "Okay, yeah."
I like that moment too.
Yeah, that's a great
one. At that point, he's accepting his fate. He's like, all right.
He's like, it took this much to take one of them out, and now there's like 20. Yeah. Forget it.
I'm like, yeah, just look. Let's go ahead, and it is what it is.
I swear he came this close to saying, "I'm too old for this shit."
that would have been good. It should have had it. I should have had that line in the movie.
They were stressing that brother out.
Oh yeah,
that would have been too much of a, wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I would have been fine with it.
I think a lot of people would.
It's very true.
And like I said, both of these films are really, really good. I know you said you tried to avoid this film, Kyle, but do you have any thoughts, any way you want to chime in and share some of your thoughts?
I would have to say my thoughts with the second one. I would say they tried to make it very successful, but somehow they kind of like didn't really have the feel as like the first one. But if I have to like say, if you really want to like good like suspicions, go for it. Otherwise, stay away, because I don't think they're probably going to be like as good as the first one. But what I'm really am impressed with is that instead of like doing in the jungle, which the first one and the Predators did, and Prey did, which was in the forest, they actually took it into the city, which was pretty a new level for the Predator. Because like imagine if you had that alien being roaming around in the city, hunting everyone that they try to collect their heads for. And this is like something that you're gonna have to think about. And I think this is something like I really think they could have maybe done a little bit better with Predator 2. But except I think seeing the reviews kind of like maybe kind of makes me feel like I have to like probably not to watch it.
Yeah, I will say one thing I will agree with you on is putting Predators in like the city. And could you imagine just going out doing like your normal daily routine and you walking past this thing and you don't even know he's there? Like that is probably one of the scariest feelings in the world. And with that being said, Remy, coming back to you, how would you compare the storylines between the Guyver film and the Predator film?
Good question.
Well, I think with Predator 2 is a very kind of strong mystery element to the story, because like we already know it's a predator, but like the way that the characters are trying to figure it out, this is like their first time encountering this creature. So there's that kind of like mystery, who done it, like who's doing all these killings, is it another gang, is it a newcomer in town, and like are they even human? So that kind of like adds something to the storyline where it kind of makes it a bit more interesting. While the story for Guyver is kind of following that superhero origin sort of structure, where it's this kind of regular guy who gets thrust into this new world with a bunch of monsters and aliens and organizations and stuff like that. So he's kind of thrust into that. And I would say they kind of follow that same kind of structure, though, where it's this regular kind of guy where you have Danny Glover's character just being a regular cop in LA, just trying to take on regular gangs, and you have Sean just trying to live his life and go about his day. And they're both kind of like thrust into something bigger than they ever could imagine. Like Danny Glover has to fight the Predator, and he realizes, oh, there's a whole tribe of predators out there, and not just one of them. And with Sean, it's like he's bonded with this new alien creature, and he finds out that a bunch of other monsters want it for various reasons. So they kind of follow that kind of basic structure about just like the ordinary person being put into an extraordinary world. But they kind of handle it very differently, where Guyver takes on a superhero persona. Predator 2 is just kind of like this, kind of follows similar beats as like the first Predator.
Yeah, no, I agree with that assessment. I agree with that assessment a lot. I think the story for Predator 2, it almost makes you feel attached to Danny Glover in a sense, because like DJ was saying, like, that's the Predator's main target. So he's doing everything he can to pretty much get to him. So he's taking out his team, and he's trying to eliminate his team because like DJ said, hey, he's the leader of the pack, and so that's his goal. His ultimate goal is to get to Danny Glover. Then on the other hand, Danny Glover's ultimate goal is to stop the Predator. So you have two alphas going at it, and I guess when you look back at the first one, like you said, DJ, when you mentioned they were in the first one, it had the big muscle bound guys, and then Remy, you mentioned about the star power. So it might be a little different for people to see a cop from LA like Danny Glover taking on a Predator. But I thought it made for a good story because the Predator, he strong-willed it, and then Danny Glover in this film was strong. So you got two alphas trying to really take each other out. And like you said, DJ, you said he was like this close. So you know what? I'm too old for this, man. I can't, because it took a lot out of him to have hand-to-hand combat with a Predator and kill him. So I feel like Predator 2 kind of, gave you a feel like, okay, we're going to take a dive into what Danny Glover feels, how he thinks, and what kind of person he is. And he possessed a lot of determination. On the other hand, if you look at Guyver, and I agree with you too, Remy, and even you, DJ, giving me like the backstory to the anime, it almost feels heroic in a sense. Like he knows he has to do this in order to, not only save the city, but save the world. Because they no telling what they was going to do when they got their hands on the Guyver. And so I think when I watched the Guyver, it's like I wasn't on edge, but I was just curious to see what was going to happen next. Predator 2 kept me on edge because I didn't know who was getting slaughtered next. I didn't know if Danny Glover was going to make it or not. So, because this is my first time watching the Predator 2 all the way through, actually. But like I said, both of them, they're different with good stories and different elements. And then they both have, to me, they have some laughable moments, especially at the beginning when the news lady reported and she was like, "Get me out of here." And then the other guy was reporting. So they had some good moments in it. But if I could compare the stories, one is centered around the determination and will of Danny Glover and his ultimate goal of taking out the Predator, and the Predator ultimate goal of taking out Danny Glover, versus Sean having the Guyver and becoming heroic and trying to save the world. So that's how I would compare both of the stories. What about you, DJ? How would you compare the stories with Guyver and the Predator?
Well, before I get into that little fun fact, not sure if everybody here knows, but Bill Paxton, who is the new guy on Danny Glover's team, he's fought and died against the Predator, the Aliens, and the Terminator.
Yeah.
Dang!
Oh, what?
Yeah, but think about it, because like in the first Terminator, he shows up as like one of the
street punks.
Yeah, that Arnold kills, and then he's killed by one of the xenomorphs.
I didn't recognize that. That's a cool fact. I didn't know that. You said the Terminator, Alien.
He was in Aliens. He was
and Predator.
Like, game over, man. Game over.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yep, that's him.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then Lance Henriksen was also dealt with all three.
Man, that's cool. I think
that's cool. That's right. He was an Alien versus Predator. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, that is very true.
Well,
like I almost forgot about him.
They'll have to deal with three
just
unstoppable creatures.
So just a little fun fact I wanted to throw out there.
That was cool.
But with regards to the story, with regards to Predator 2, Danny Glover doesn't know what he's going up against. He's trying to do things as a cop. There's a mystery. He's trying to solve it because, it's essentially another crime in the city, and it fell into his lap. And so, and throughout the whole thing, not only is he trying to figure out who's like killing these gang members and things like that and taking out his team, but he's also got the mystery of Gary Busey's character and what his group is doing, because they just pop in and all of a sudden he's being told back off, and he's like, no, this is my case. I'm going to solve this case. I'm going to find out who this criminal is, not realizing that he's chasing an alien warrior that is actually hunting him. So I appreciate that aspect of the Predator 2 story. It's a different, it differentiates itself from the first one, while mimicking the same kind of beats. You know, the Predator chooses one person to be the final boss for itself. But the human side of it is different. So in the first one, you got soldiers that are trying to do their duty and avenge their fallen comrades and things like that. In the second one, you've got a detective that's trying to solve a crime and just doesn't realize he's stumbled onto aliens.
Oh man!
But with the Guyver, it's very much. They made that one very much a superhero origin story. That was kind of what they wanted to do with it, and and again, it does very well with paying homage to the source material, and that it does differentiate it a little bit because in the original story, the main character is a high school student, and I think he's like a sophomore or junior age.
Yeah.
And so in that essence, you're dealing with a kid who's suddenly thrown into this horrific reality of this evil corporation like controlling all these police and pharmaceuticals and technology and everything,
right,
just global scale. And he's like, I just wanted to go to school and date this chick that I like. It happens to be the sister of my best friend.
Right.
So they didn't want to recreate that aspect with this live action movie, but they do pay homage to it. So you have a guy who's an adult, but he's very awkward. He's very unsure of himself. He's trying to take martial arts, but he's clumsy at it. And he gets made fun of, and he's interested in the girl, but she's kind of interested in him, but it's like iffy and stuff. And then he gets thrust into the situation where all of a sudden he's got this special spacesuit that powers him up and allows him to fight finally and everything. And it takes until the end of the movie for him to finally build up the full confidence, to step into it. And in that process, he finds out the truth that there's this evil corporation that wants world domination. So that plays into what you were saying of him wanting to, step up and be the hero. It's like, yeah, because they told him like, we want that.
Yeah,
suit.
it's awesome, Trey. You can watch it free on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah. And then if you get a chance after you watch the first one, watch the second one because it's much more serious and actually R-rated. So,
where can I watch the second one?
That I don't know. I have the DVD, so
I'm not sure.
Dang it, DJ!
I'm not sure about that.
Or try to get it at a library. I suggest to get the library. Go to the library if they have it.
I'm gonna try to find it. I'm gonna try to
like
find
a disc
it.
replay or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if they have them out by you, but someplace like that where they sell previously owned movies and stuff. But
yeah, we have a place down here that's like that. It's a lot of vintage films, games, and I mean it's like a big store, action figures, everything. So I'll have to check that out. And they sell figures too, action figures. They have the whole ordeal. But that is a good way that you put that, DJ, because if you think about it, like you said, he already really wasn't confident. You can kind of see it in the karate class. Like you said, he was, into this, woman, and the woman's kind of, so and so with him. But the Guyver actually finds somebody who could protect himself now. So I thought that was a cool twist, which was cool. Let me see. Trey said it's like $17.
If you have Prime, I think it's free to watch.
Yeah, it's free to watch on Prime. But it's an awesome movie. I enjoyed it. I like what they did with it. And I didn't get bored at all with the film. Actually, like I had a good time. Like just watching it. I ate food. I watched it. I thought it was.
They don't really drag anything out.
No, yeah, it's only like about an hour and a half. So like they kind of get through it pretty quickly.
All right,
the
Remy.
most boring part is like the beginning where before he finds
Oh yeah.
That part's a little difficult to get through. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Sci-Fi Nerdz? It's been a minute. Hey, man, how you doing? It's been a minute.
What up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a really long time. No, I meant the second. The second.
Okay, the second one.
Well, then find it somewhere else, Trey.
But all right, Remy, I'm coming back to you. Watching both films, which character would you rather be? Would you rather be Sean from the Guyver, or would you rather be Lieutenant Harrington from Predator 2? And why?
I'm gonna be Sean. Sean in an instant, because guess what? I get a freaking awesome alien armor to fight monsters in. Hell yeah! With Harrington, I'm like, no, I'm just a regular guy, and I'm going up against a predator. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that Harrington has to do in this movie, like that part where he has to climb down the building, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Man, I would have crap would have been coming down. Well, I would have been shaking.
I would have fell. I would have slipped. I would have fell and I died. That's how it would have ended for me. I wouldn't have given my. No, I'm not doing that. I don't deal with heights, so I ain't dealing with that garbage.
Back in my younger days, I would have been all over that, but now, no.
Yeah. I'll be shaking now.
Even I'm young, and I'm like, no, I ain't doing that garbage. Like the Guyver, I'm like, no, hell yeah, I would love to beat up evil monsters in a suit and just take them all down. I would be like, you know what? I had a very stressful day today, so.
And I think that Guyver suit would be fun. You just go around kicking butt, whooping butt. I think that'll be like super cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, your family might be in danger once in a while, but just don't share your secret identity. Just keep it a secret.
Yeah. Just. What about you, DJ? Which character you rather, Lieutenant Harrington?
Not even a question
about it.
Yeah, can power up. Yeah. Nah, I mean, in the suit looks really, really good for the time that the film was made. So I love it, and especially the beam blast. I don't know what it's called, but
Mega Smasher.
The Mega Smash. Okay, I like that move because I was like, when that monster was going, what the world? And I'm thinking he finna blow himself and the monster up. Boom. Yep. So that was a pretty cool finisher. I enjoyed that a lot. I know Kyle want to be the LA cop. He want to run around in LA. And that's right, Kyle.
I would definitely be, but my go-to would be the Predator. I don't know why, because I love the Predator.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, Kyle, we didn't. Hey, Kyle, don't cheating. No cheating now. No cheating. We didn't say you could be the Predator. We said either Sean or Harrington. We didn't give you the option.
That's a good twist. True. I like that.
That's very good. I mean, I'd rather be. Twist, I would definitely be the Guyver because one, it's basically the suit that I would definitely wear to, in case I need to defend myself, family or friends. But there will be consequences that I will have to deal with, like those tentacles like sticking into your neck, which is totally like they're like somehow getting into your nerve system. It's like painful. It's like I don't know how I can live with that pain, but I'll like get used to it. So unless if there's a crime, I'll have to go out there and do justice.
Okay, so I have another question for you, Kyle. Would you rather be the Guyver or the Predator?
Oh my God. That's a tough question. I guess I'm just going to be the Predator always. I don't know why. I don't know, because I remember playing the video game Aliens versus Predator, and I was so obsessed of jumping through trees and going after all of the Marines and the aliens. It's like so fun. It's like you get to keep all the heads and their second jaws as trophies, because I think you have the technology. You don't really need like alien vision sort of thing, but you have all the technology you have. So that's why I prefer to stick with the Predator. And you have to show them that you're the alpha predator.
You have dreadlocks. You got dreadlocks. Let's see. All right, Remy. The people are watching you. Okay. The Sci-Fi Nerds are watching you.
Okay.
Which movie do you prefer? Which film do you think is better? The Predator 2 or the Guyver? And give us your overall reason why.
Okay. So going back and rewatching both of these movies again, I can definitely say with absolute honesty that the movie that I prefer is Predator 2.
Okay.
It's Predator.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Honestly, because as much as don't get me wrong, I like the Guyver movie. I think it's a very good, fun time, but I think it has a lot of problems that kind of hold it back from like being as enjoyable as it could be. I think the major problem I have with the Guyver is the tone. Like it switches from being the sort of like gritty, like 90s grunge kind of action film with like these very like over the top, like goofy moments that just come right out of nowhere. And it's just like, okay, pick a lane, dude. Like in Brandon's review, like Kyle mentioned, he mentions how it goes from being 89 Batman in 1 second to Batman Forever in the next second, and it's just like, okay, what are you doing? You got to pick a tone. You can't just be both at the same. You got to pick one, man. And not only that, but also Sean, the actor for Sean, he's not a good actor. He's not a good actor at all. He's kind of I don't really like his acting style.
The guy that they got for the second one was better at it.
Yeah, not only that, but they could have made Mark Hamill the Guyver. I don't know why they didn't. I'm like, the guy. No, okay, never mind that.
That's why, because they're putting Mark Hamill's name to watch the movie. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah, but yeah, I think some of those issues kind of keep it from like being phenomenal, from being like a great movie. Plus two, again, freaking. What's that guy's name again? Walker, whatever.
Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker, his character. God, I hate it. I hate that character. He's so annoying. But it still has good effects. I still really like the action that's in that movie. It's like whenever the Guyver shows up, is when the movie like actually comes to life and is actually like enjoyable. When the Guyver's not on screen, you're like, oh god, just get back to the Guyver, please. I can't deal with your guys' poor script anymore. And your guys' hokey acting. Just get back to the Guyver. But Predator 2, I think, is like an overall very consistent movie where I think the acting, despite it being over the top and like very sort of like out there, it's still good. Danny Glover is still a good actor. I still really like him. Both movies have really good effects, but comparing it, the Predator 2 definitely has like the effects over Guyver, but that's just mainly because of the budget. And plus two, I think I'm just more familiar with Predator than I am with Guyver. So there's kind of like that little bit of like connection with the Predator universe than I do with the Guyver. But I still recommend the Guyver, especially to Guyver fans. It's still an enjoyable film. But for me, overall, I would say that Predator 2 is the one.
You just pooped all over the Guyver, and then he telling y'all to go watch it.
All right, I didn't say it's a garbage movie.
That's a great answer, Remy. If I had to pick between the two, I would probably. I had a back and forth with this for the past couple of days. I would probably
choose wisely.
I would probably go with the Predator.
Let's go.
But yes. I will say what Guyver was doing with their film in that time, it was really, really good. And it was really, 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 really unique. And I don't know, and I could be wrong. I'm not familiar with the totality of Guyver. But when they made that film, I don't know if it was for everybody. I think it was for pretty much people like us. So I enjoyed it. So I didn't have an issue with it. But I thought for the time it was made and with the effects and everything they tried to do with it, I thought it was good. but I'm going with the Predator 2. I think just based off of them having to deal with the Predator, just him alone, and then the relationship with Danny Glover and the Predator, I thought puts it over the top for me. But I had a back and forth with this. But I enjoy both movies. So those who are watching in the chat, and DJ put us on the Guyver. By the way, he puts on a lot of awesome stuff. So you can watch it for free on Amazon Prime. It was really, really good. Really, really good. I got like Power Ranger vibes off of it. That's how I felt about it. But it's really good. It's really good. So if you guys get a chance and the opportunity, please check it out. All right, DJ, coming to you, my brother. Which film between Predator 2 and the Guyver was the better film and why?
Well, as much of a fan of the Guyver series as I am, and as much as I enjoyed the first live action Guyver movie, Predator 2 is definitely the better of the two films. Obviously, better production, better acting. Special effects are, for Guyver's, as everybody said, is really good, amazing considering considering it's a B movie and stuff. And no real shade at the Guyver movie itself, but like Remy said, for as serious as they took it, they also they used two of the zoonoids to kind of kidify it.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Right.
And that's kind of a detraction from the source material because you don't have goofy zoonoids, and you have goofy looking ones, but they're all serious. They're military soldiers. They're not just like street punks.
Right.
Whereas this movie, it's like, yeah, we're gonna have street punks be our foot soldiers for a very serious corporation that's run by zoolords who like have full control over these creatures and stuff. So again, if you've never seen anything Guyver, it is a good introduction.
Yeah.
And it's a good stepping stone to get you into the anime and the manga. But if you've seen that stuff and then you go back and watch it, you're going to be like, yeah. Now the second one, like I said before, it does do a better job with it, but we're not really talking about that now. So, but Predator 2, just good, very good cast. The characters, Danny Glover's team felt like they were an actual team. Like their interactions, it truly felt like they had been working together for years. They had each other's back. They had the respect, and even as captain, like as much as he hated the things that Danny Glover's character was doing, he still respected the results that he got, and he had his back as best as he could. So that shows that they were a tight knit group, and and it felt genuine. So I give that props, and then you get Gary Busey's character and his group coming in and butting heads because they're the feds. They don't have to tell a street cop anything that they don't want to tell them.
Yep.
They in their reality, they could have killed Danny Glover at any moment because he was getting too close. But instead, they eventually bring him in and be like, hey, this is what's really going on. Sit back and watch and stuff. And, he was, and then of course you get the Predator, you get some new gadgets for it. You get a little bit more expansion on the mythos. Because again, going back to the ending where the tribe comes out and the leader tosses the pistol to Danny Glover. And I was watching a timeline video recently that was like kind of talking about the whole aliens and predator mythos, and the pistol apparently is now from the movie Prey.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're like bringing it full circle. So
wow,
at least that's what the movie Prey tried to do. So they made the pistol, one of the guy's pistol from that movie is the one that the Predator had that he gave to Danny Glover.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
there's even a reference to that pistol in I think one of the comics too. Actually, I think.
Yeah,
That's
where
crazy.
the Predator got it off of like some sort of pirate, I think, and killed him. But I think he like got the pistol as like a reward, and so he gave that reward to Danny Glover in Predator 2. But again, whether or not the comics are connected to the movies is a different story. But yeah, like DJ said, it is connected to Prey in that sort of way.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so they again with Predator 2, they did a really good job of building up the world, expanding the mythos for the Predator. Showing that it's that there's more of a society aspect to it, and it's not just these one-off random guys.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So definitely the better of the two movies.
All right, Kyle. Last but not least, brother, which film do you prefer, Predator 2 or The Guyver?
Okay. If you had to like go for which movie that you would prefer, I would go for Predator 2 because the special effects still look good. The suitmation's fantastic. I would say this movie was on like a higher budget than Guyver, where it's like a low budget film with great suits and visual effects, but they kind of like take the fun out of like the anime and the manga. I just think they kind of like lose that faith right before we have like the modern technology in Hollywood right now that we recently developed, and now that we probably should give the credit to Predator 2, because I think if for people who want to see like with better suitmations and special effects, then go for Predator 2 because it's gonna like knock you at the door.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have the 4-0 sweep. Everybody agreed that Predator 2 was the better film, better than Guyver, but that does not mean Guyver is not a film that you guys shouldn't check out. So yeah, both of the films are great in their own right. Two different stories, two different tones, but the action was good in both of them, and we seem to all really enjoy both of the movies. And before we log out, we dedicate the show to Doris, Nick, and Serge, who could not be here with us tonight. And now I'm going to give the floor over to DJ so he can let you guys know what he has going on his channel. So DJ, take it from here, brother.
All right, thank you. So me and Remy have another channel where we do reviews on anime and tokusatsu shows like Kamen Rider and Super Sentai or Power Rangers and Ultraman, and we dive into other things as well. This week we're continuing our conversation about the Primal TV series from HBO. And we're going to be talking about season 2, the first 5 episodes of that. Little tidbit, if you are interested in finding out more about the Guyver series and can't find someplace to watch the anime, you can actually check out our channel. That was the first anime series that we reviewed on our channel. So we break down the entire series and talk about every episode. So if you don't mind having everything spoiled for you, it's a good series to watch. So it is in a playlist on YouTube. We're also on Rumble under Dragon DJ Reviews. So definitely check those out and join our conversation, because Donald will be guest appearing again for our continued conversation about Primal this week, which will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. So,
yeah, be there
or be square.
Be square. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who tuned in tonight, thank you guys for always, entering the chat with us and showing support to us. Had a lovely conversation tonight. It was awesome. I'm Donald.
I'm Kyle.
Remy.
DJ.
And we are the Sci-Fi Nerds. Peace.
Later.
Peace.
See ya.